Hello everyone! Have you ever struggled with a dull blade, barely able to slice a ripe tomato, leaving a trail of squished mess? I'm here to show you how to transform your dull knives into razor-sharp blades using simple DIY methods. Let's dive in. As you can see, trying to slice this ripe tomato is a real struggle. The knife just crushes it instead of making clean cuts. This is the frustration of a dull knife. But then an idea sparked. I'll take a couple of bottle caps, which I've got a whole collection of here, and some sandpaper. This will be the base for our first sharpening tool. I placed the bottle caps onto the sandpaper and used a pen to trace around them. This gave me circles to cut out. Once traced, I'll carefully cut them out along the lines. Leave a comment and let me know which country you are watching from. It's great that we can connect and chat from all over the world. After cutting out all the sandpaper circles, I'll apply a bit of super glue to the top of the bottle caps and firmly attach the sandpaper discs. Make sure they are centered for an even grind. Now, I'll put two caps with the sandpaper sides facing each other. Then I'll use my soldering iron to carefully make a small hole directly through the center of the combined caps. This hole needs to be precise for our next step. I'll take a screw and thread it through the hole in our cap assembly. If you find this video interesting, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any interesting ideas coming soon. On the other side, I'll add a washer and then tighten it with a nut to secure everything firmly in place. Now I add a small nut to the end of the bolt and use a screwdriver and pliers to tighten it securely, making sure the caps are held firmly in place. This forms our sharpening attachment. Let's attach our newly assembled sharpening tool to a power drill. I'll secure it tightly in the chuck. A quick test spin shows it's working perfectly and ready to go. Holding the drill firmly, I carefully ran the knife blade along the spinning sandpaper discs. I worked slowly and steadily, making sure to maintain a consistent angle. I'm carefully sharpening the blade against the rotating sandpaper disc. I maintain a consistent angle, moving the knife gently to ensure even sharpening along the entire edge. You can already see the dullness disappearing. Let's retest the sharpened knife on a tomato. Look at how easily it slices now, effortlessly gliding through the skin without any resistance. The difference is night and day, proving that my DIY sharpener really works. For my next trick, when I try to cut this piece of paper, the knife simply tears it, confirming it is indeed dull and ineffective. Now for another ingenious idea. This time, I'm using 2 small nuts and bolts to create a central grinding component. I removed the bolt from the nut, in preparation for the next step of the project. I took the sandpaper and cut it down the middle, creating 2 smaller pieces. This will allow for more versatility in how I use it. Then, I applied a strong adhesive to the heads of the bolts and carefully pressed the sandpaper onto them, creating custom sanding pads. I carefully cut out the circular sandpaper pieces, ensuring they fit perfectly onto the bolt heads. This precision is important for consistent sharpening. I'm repeating the gluing process for a second pair of nuts and sandpaper, ensuring I have 2 complete sharpening units. Then I'll use my soldering iron to carefully make a small hole directly through the center of the nuts. I then assembled the bolts and nuts, with the sandpaper heads facing each other, creating another specialized sharpening tool. This design offers an approach to grinding the blade. Securing this second tool into the drill's chuck, I give it a quick test spin. It's perfectly balanced and ready to tackle that dull blade. Just like before, I'll bring the knife's edge to the rotating sandpaper. I'm focusing on consistency, ensuring the entire blade gets an even sharpening. I hold the knife at a consistent angle against the spinning sandpaper disc, moving it along the entire blade. I take a piece of paper and gently slice through it. The knife now glides effortlessly, making clean, precise cuts without any tearing or resistance. That's a sharp blade. Next test: slicing a lime. The knife cuts through it smoothly and precisely, demonstrating its newfound sharpness and making short work of the task. Here's another dull knife, this time with a wooden handle. Just like before, this dull knife can barely tear through a piece of paper, let alone cut it cleanly. Now, let's explore a more traditional method for sharpening. I retrieved a classic sharpening stone, a staple for maintaining blade edges. I'm starting with a standard sharpening stone, inspecting both its coarse and fine sides. To prepare the stone, I laid it on a cloth to prevent it from slipping during sharpening. It's crucial for safety and effectiveness. I used a few binder clips to the knife. This ingenious setup allows me to maintain a precise and consistent angle while sharpening, ensuring an even edge every time. I'm now carefully sharpening the knife on the coarse side of the stone. I move the blade along the stone in smooth, consistent strokes, ensuring the entire edge is worked. I gently sprayed the stone with water to keep it lubricated. Then I began to push and pull the knife across the stone. I'm applying gentle, even pressure, ensuring I hit the exact angle set by the clips. I'll alternate sides to create a symmetrical edge. The binder clips kept my angle perfect, making the process much easier and more consistent. you can see the metal being abraded, transforming the dull edge. To prepare the fine side of the stone, I'm spraying a generous amount of water onto its surface. This lubricates the stone and helps carry away metal particles, allowing for a smoother, finer edge. Now I switch to the fine side of the stone, continuing to sharpen the knife with the same consistent angle. This step refines the edge, making it incredibly sharp and polished. I take my time, ensuring every part of the blade gets the perfect treatment. The goal is to achieve a fine burr on both sides of the edge, indicating maximum sharpness. With the sharpening complete, I carefully remove the binder clips and wipe down the blade. The knife is now incredibly sharp and ready for testing. Let's put this newly sharpened knife to the test. I take a piece of paper and try to cut it. As you can see, the blade slices through effortlessly, making clean, precise cuts with no tearing whatsoever. Amazing! Now for a practical test. Slicing a lime. The knife cuts through the citrus fruit like butter, producing perfect, uniform slices with minimal effort. This blade is truly sharp. For the ultimate demonstration of sharpness, I'm attempting to slice through a hanging water bottle. As you can see, the knife cuts through it cleanly and precisely, without displacing the bottle. Thank you for your support. Bye. See you in the next video.